Welcome to another episode of the A-List Movie Club. I am your host, the Game Changer, Wes Truth. And once again, I'm joined by Dominic and John. How's it going tonight, guys?
All right.
So in this episode, it was Dominic's turn to pick a movie for us. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you picked?
I had picked one of my previous choices was the movie Godfather. And Wesley, I don't believe you had seen it before, and I know John didn't see it before.
I saw Godfather before.
Okay, well then the hell with you.
I did not. I'd seen it before.
All right, that's what it was. You didn't. So it won the greatest mob movie of all time. So this time, I chose for its 30th anniversary the Martin Scorsese movie, Goodfellas, with Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, and Joe Pesci, which is another mob movie because I love mob movies. It's a story of it revolves mainly around three main characters and their interactions with the mafia and rising up through the ranks and betrayal, love, scary movies, everything. I don't want to give too much of the plot away in case anybody out there has been living in Iraq or been in prison. I love this movie. It's a great movie. Fantastic acting, great story. Joe Pesci plays an absolute psychotic son of a bitch who is crazy, mean, ruthless, and still likable. It's pretty. His performance in that movie stole the movie. It really did. I mean, and that's tough when you've got De Niro in there who plays these roles to a T. He does. It's like he was born to play these types of roles. And I've never been a huge Ray Liotta fan, but he was great in this movie. The storyline, the direction, Scorsese is just a brilliant filmmaker. He just absolutely is. I would have to say that for me, not as good as The Godfather. I think The Godfather is the gold standard. I think this was very, very good. So I loved it. I mean, I think it's still an excellent movie, probably in my top 40 of movies of all time. But like when you're talking, Godfather was my number one movie of all time. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I love this movie too. I saw it before when it came out. It's the first time I've seen it in probably 30 years or so. I forgot how good a movie this is. Damn, I mean, like you said, all the acting is great. Even the besides those three main stars, like Paul Sorvino is good. The one that plays Ray Liotta's wife is good.
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine Bracco, I think is her name.
Yeah,
she's good. Yeah, everyone's great in this movie. The direction, I mean, you can't go wrong with Scorsese.
No.
And like you said, Joe Pesci's like, I don't know, I thought he had like little man syndrome. Like he's so short. That's why he's sort of always on edge and kind of, you making fun of me, and flies off the handle. Like he realizes he's not the biggest guy in the room kind of thing.
Well, it's funny because, he's got a very famous scene in that movie. What am I, a clown? Do I amuse you? I mean, that's just an incredible scene.
Yeah, that scene's awesome. I remember that scene, and what is it? Saturday night was for the wives, and Friday night was for the girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that line. And Thursday night is for YouTube shows. So I remember those lines. Yeah, yeah, it's a great movie. Everything about it is good.
All right.
It's like, not as good as Godfather, but it might be the best gangster movie in the
Besides,
last 30 years
yeah.
of the 90s. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I thought it was great. Martin Scorsese brings a really cool style here. I really like that tracking shot of going through the Copa, and the odd camera work when Hill's on drugs is very interesting. I like that it's told through the point of view and narrated by Hill and his wife, and it sort of goes back and forth. And that the wife and kids play an important role as the movie goes on. I thought Ray Liotta does a great job and has a spectacular laugh that turned into a meme over the years. If you kids didn't know what that is, it's from this movie. Joe Pesci is as the out of control mobster Tommy is, like you said, steals the show. I was like, oh, this guy's not so bad. And then certain scenes happen. I'm like, Jesus. What he does in some of the scenes, they are certainly a surprise. Robert De Niro is great, but not in it as much as I thought he'd be. But what he's in, he's great. I liked the scenes, some of the smaller scenes, like Hill introducing the audience to the random gangsters when they go to that. I think it was the club, and they're like, "This is the guy that says everything 2 times or whatever." Yeah, I like that. Hey, how you doing? How about that thing about on the East Coast or whatever? I thought that was funny. And eating dinner at Joe Pesci's mom's house, I thought was a great, funny scene. And it was interesting to see how the wise guys are treated in jail as opposed to regular prisoners. Very bloody and violent stuff happens in this movie, much like The Godfather. I think even more violent here, though. And there's like I said, definitely some surprising moments I didn't see coming. There's great suspense and paranoia. The dialogue is awesome. Oh, and I definitely want to shout out the soundtrack because it's a great soundtrack of the era. And for those of you who watched our Let It Bleed review, 2 songs from the Music Club, Gimme Shelter and Monkey Man plays twice.
Yeah. I was laughing too. Like, oh, hey, it ties into our last show.
Yeah, and they even played about the cold pizza or whatever it is.
The greatest lyric of all time. I'm a cold Italian pizza. I need a lemon squeezer.
I laughed so bad when I heard that line in there. But
so
brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
My numerical grade. I don't think this was as good as The Godfather. I think it's still a brilliant movie. So I will give this, it's a perfect movie. It really is. It's a great, great movie. I just preferred The Godfather a little better, but I still got to give this a 10, without a doubt.
Yeah, if you don't compare it to The Godfather, just have it stand alone. It's still a 10.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go, 3 times in a row from Dominic's pick. It's a 10 for me, too. You got to pick worst movies, Dominic.
I picked Howard the Duck. Right?
Now it's going to be, the next time, it's going to be John's turn to pick. So what did you come up with for us this time?
I guess technically it's my son's turn to pick.
Right.
So I don't know where I think I was one night just Wendy and I were going to watch a movie and I'm like, have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? Throwing out some movies and she's like, no, I haven't. I said, oh, it's good. We should watch it some night. And she said, okay. Somehow my son remembered that. Because he's like, Daddy said the movie was good, right? I said, yeah. He goes, let's pick that one. So he picked Mr. Brooks.
Okay. I have.
He can't even watch it.
That's
You ever seen
that's definitely random.
It is. I don't know where that came
For
from.
some reason, I thought you were going to show Natural Born Killers.
That's a good movie too.
Yeah. But
Have you guys ever seen this one? Do you have
I
it on
didn't see
Netflix?
it, no.
Oh. Kevin Costner, Demi Moore, Dane Cook.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. I have.
So that's great, though.
Yeah, I don't. But he can't even watch it. I don't know why he picked it. I don't know. Well, maybe he watched The Purge the other night. So what the hell?
So we'll be back next week with our review of Mr. Brooks. But until then, John, you want to talk a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, I have a podcast called We Like Wrestling Podcast. A weekly podcast. Four guys sit around talking about wrestling, past, present, classic pay-per-views. If it's wrestling related, we talk about it. So it's on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. We Like Wrestling Podcast.
All right. And of course, for me, you can subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/westside515. Like the show on Facebook, facebook.com/WestTrueBaylist. And of course, you can follow me on the Twitter and Instagram @WestAlist. Until next time, truth out.